Welcome to the Deep Dive. We take complex topics, unpack the sources, and give you the key insights, minus the noise.
Exactly. And today, we're looking at a figure many people have strong opinions about, Nancy Pelosi.
Right. Public figures, they always have these layers, don't they? Public image versus, well, whatever else might be going on. We've got a pretty unique stack of source material to explore her world today.
Yeah, our mission really is to explore Pelosi as she's presented in these specific sources. We're talking alleged deep thoughts, political moves, family history, even a missing laptop.
A missing laptop. Huh?
We want to examine the narratives in these sources, see what connections they make, and pull out the main points for you.
And these sources, we should be clear, are excerpts from YouTube video transcripts. They're from a channel called Mr. Reagan. So expect a very particular viewpoint.
Definitely. It's a mix of commentary, political analysis, maybe some satire in there too.
So just to reiterate for everyone listening, our job today is to unpack the content presented in these sources. We're not endorsing it, just exploring the arguments and details they lay out.
Got it.
Okay, let's dive in.
All right.
So first up, this idea of deep thoughts with Nancy Pelosi, that sounds intriguing. What is this source actually presenting?
Well, it's framed as a kind of satirical look inside her head during big public moments, like her imagined internal monologue.
An inner monologue. Wow. Examples.
Yeah, it gets pretty pointed. For instance, during a moment where maybe clapping is expected, the source imagines her thinking, if I don't clap for this, I'm just going to look like a crazy bitch, but I am a crazy.
Oh, wow. Okay, so quite critical then.
Very. It paints a picture of someone, constantly calculating appearances.
Yeah.
It even includes observations on other figures like Condoleezza Rice or Hendry, calling Hendry even bigger bitch than me.
And it gets even stranger, right? I saw a mention of Satan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The source actually includes this supposed internal thought about a contract with Prince of Darkness, Satan. Seriously.
According to this source, yes. And she's supposedly reflecting on a loophole, thinking, when I made that deal with Satan, I should have said, most powerful person in the world. Why did I say woman? Okay, so this is clearly leaning heavily into satire, presenting a highly critical, almost cartoonish view of her ambition based on this source material.
Absolutely. And it continues that theme. There's another bit where Trump mentions 5 million Americans off food stamps.
Right.
And her supposed internal conflict is like, if I frowned, I look like a bitch. If I smiled, I look like I'm supporting Trump. What'll I do? I know I'll smirk. Wait. Didn't we just make smirking racist?
Highlighting perceived political calculations again.
Exactly. And then it goes to this self-admonishment. Pull yourself together, woman. Everything is racist and sexist, sexist. It's relentless in this portrayal.
There are other bits, too, mentions of a treaty with Russia, calling Chuck Schumer sexy.
Yes, sexy. Chuck Schumer's "what animal I find trolls sexy" is the quote the source uses. It's quite something.
And her reaction to Trump saying, peace and legislation there cannot be war and investigation.
The source portrays her inner thought as, crap, that was funny. That was actually pretty funny because it rhymed.
Okay. And what about the reaction to the statistic about women filling new jobs?
She's supposedly confused why others are clapping but not wearing white robes. And then perhaps the most surprising part is the sudden, positive reaction to Trump himself. The source claims she thinks, suddenly I feel the urge to go to a Trump rally. Hell, even I want to become a Republican now. I think I'll vote for Trump. God, I hate this guy, but he's so sexy, but I hate him, but I love him.
Wow. That's quite a turn, even for satire. So what's the takeaway from this deep thought section, according to the source?
Well, it's presenting this hyper-personalized, often comical but deeply critical interpretation of Pelosi. It emphasizes perceived political maneuvering, internal contradictions, personal quirks, all through this, imagined inner voice.
It really underscores how public figures can be portrayed, especially in non-traditional, blurring lines between commentary and maybe even performance art.
Yeah, this source definitely uses satire to make its points about her calculation and persona.
Okay, moving from the satirical to something presented as factual but still quite mysterious. The missing laptop from January 6th.
Right, this is a big one in these sources. The basic story, widely reported, is that an HP laptop was stolen from Pelosi's office during the Capitol protest.
And the source identifies a suspect.
Yes, Riley June Williams. Apparently, her ex-boyfriend and mother reported her. The allegation was she stole it, planning to send it via a friend to Russian intelligence.
Russian intelligence. That sounds dramatic.
It does. But here's the twist the source highlights. Williams turned herself in, but the FBI didn't find the laptop with her.
So it's still missing.
According to the source, yes. And the source questions that whole selling to Russians narrative. It asks, why would a supposed conservative patriot do that? It suggests this implies Williams wasn't a patriot, but maybe anarchist or BLM.
Interesting angle. And the source is critical of the FBI's handling of it?
Very. It calls the FBI utterly incompetent for not recovering it. And it points to other actions as potential evidence of an ongoing intense search. Well, it details this FBI raid in Alaska. Homer Inn and Spa, home of Paul and Marilyn Hooper, April 28th, 9 a.m. The source says they broke down the door, guns pointed, handcuffed the Hoopers. Now, these people were at the rally, but the source states they didn't enter the Capitol, didn't steal any laptops.
So why the intense raid?
The source speculates it connects this raid and what it describes as extreme treatment of Jan 6 protesters, generally like indefinite detention, solitary, suggesting it's not just intimidation. It might be part of this desperate search for the laptop.
But didn't Pelosi's office downplay the laptop's importance?
Exactly. That's the core conflict the source highlights.
Yeah.
Pelosi's camp reportedly said it was just something from the conference room, used for slides, nothing important, no big deal.
So the source is asking why the huge FBI effort, the raids, the alleged harsh treatment for something unimportant, like a stapler, as the source puts it.
Precisely. It leads the source to conclude the laptop must be a lot more important than the Pelosi camp is letting on. Maybe containing compromising info, maybe national security stuff.
And this connects to Rudy Giuliani.
How? Okay, so the source points out that on the same day as the Alaska raid, April 28th, just a few hours earlier, actually, the FBI raided Rudy Giuliani's apartment in New York.
The same day.
Yeah, 6 a.m. raid, seeking electronic. And here's a detail the source emphasized. Giuliani apparently offered the agents Hunter Biden's hard drives.
Yeah.
They refused to take them, even though the source claims the warrant covered all electronics.
Huh. What was the official reason for the Giuliani raid?
A possible FRR violation. That's the Foreign Agents Registration Act. But the source pushes back hard on this being the real reason.
Why?
It argues FRR violations are actually pretty common, but prosecutions like this are rare. It contrasts it with Hunter Biden's activities, which weren't charged similarly. It also mentions the warrant was based on iCloud access, suggesting no immediate risk of evidence destruction that would necessitate such a raid.
So if not fur, according to the source, what was the Giuliani raid about?
Connecting the dots, the source concludes the FBI wasn't really after FR info, and it wasn't just intimidation. It theorizes they were still looking for Nancy Pelosi's laptop.
Believing Giuliani might have it or know who does.
Essentially, yeah. The idea presented is that anyone with potentially damaging info might give it to Giuliani or people associated with him, like Digenova, Tunzing, or Solomon, who were mentioned. So raiding Giuliani was part of the laptop hunt.
It's quite a narrative the source builds there. The missing laptop becomes this linchpin connecting Jan 6th actions, FBI raids across the country.
It definitely shows how an event can spiral into complex speculation and feed narratives of distrust towards official explanation, all based on the information presented in this source.
Okay, let's shift gears again. Our sources also spend a lot of time on allegations of corruption, even using terms like Pelosi crime family.
Yes, that framing is very prominent. The source repeatedly calls her the most corrupt politician in Washington, like a mafia don. It even brings up a quote attributed to her daughter.
The one about cutting your head off.
Yeah, she'll cut your head off and you won't even know you're bleeding. The source presents this not as a compliment about toughness, but as, well, how a criminal operates.
And it traces this back to her father.
Right. Thomas D'Alessandro, Big Tommy. He was a congressman, mayor of Baltimore. The sources allege he had mafia connections. It names Benjamin Magliano, also known as Benny Trotta, described as a top Baltimore hoodlum with ties to the Lucchese crime family, as Big Tommy's constant companion.
And the source offers evidence for these connections.
It cites a 1940s FBI investigation into a draft-dodging scheme run by Trotta. It involved boxers claiming to be essential workers at a ship cleaning company.
Okay.
The owner of that company, John Catinio, supposedly testified he gave large sums of money to D'Alessandro's campaign in exchange for city sanitation contracts. The source also claims J. Edgar Hoover stepped in to prevent a thorough investigation.
Anything else about her father?
Yeah, it mentions his withdrawal from the 1954 Maryland governor's race. This was allegedly due to taking undeclared money, $11,000 back then, maybe $200,000 today, from a building developer named Dominic Paracci, who was later convicted of fraud.
And this money was supposedly
described as kickbacks for city development contracts, according to the source. It also highlights the close ties by mentioning the royal wedding between Paracci's daughter and D'Alessandro's son, Nancy Pelosi's brother. Huge event, blessed by the Pope, 5,000 guests, even a gift from President Truman.
So the source paints a picture of deep-rooted, alleged corruption stretching back generations.
That's the narrative, yes. And it then pivots to allegations surrounding Nancy Pelosi herself and her husband, Paul.
Like insider trading.
Exactly.